Welcome back to the Hoops Temple podcast. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz, aka Nate_Hoops Temple on TikTok. We're back for another pod. We're going to do the Atlantic Division preview. We've got a whole host of guests. If you're seeing us on YouTube, you can see them. Otherwise, listening to us audio, I'll introduce us. Going around the room, we've got Aaron Schroeder in Sacramento.
Good to see you guys. Good afternoon.
We've got Dylan Williamson in New Zealand.
Thank you. Nate, you're really on fire. Have you been practicing the intro that rolled off the tongue so smooth?
I didn't, but this is like, I don't know, I've been doing
It's the most flawless you've ever done it.
That's not good. I've been doing this for a couple of years. Should be better at it. And then we have Liah, aka Lisco 2000, joining us from Philadelphia area?
No, Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I'm probably going to move back to the Philly area after college, but for now I'm in D.C.
I believe one of our other guests is now in the D.C. area. Can anyone confirm Jokic Showstar?
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jack just relocated there.
That's right.
Okay, we're getting coffee. I am texting him after this.
Yeah.
You should, yeah. That's right. No, I remember that. Okay.
They just posted something in front of the Washington Monument the other day.
What a guy.
Yeah. Well, all right, we're here to talk Atlantic Division. This is the one time that divisions ever matter in basketball because 5 teams is a good amount of teams to talk about in a podcast. We could do 6 to 8. That starts to get a little long. We could do 2 or 3, but that's brief. I don't know. There's not that much to talk about. It's the off season. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to go bottom to top. Oh, gentleman and lady, who are we thinking is going to be the worst team in the Atlantic Division?
It's the Raptors. This team fucking sucks.
No,
it's terrible.
I'm
also
Raptors. Going with the Raptors.
What?
Yeah. When you toe the line between a really mediocre team with a pretty good player in Van Fleet, and then you take him away, it gets real dark really quickly. I had him at 27 wins. I think it's going to be a tough season.
What?
It's just not a very good roster. I like Brooklyn more than them, and I think as good as Siakam is, they're going to have to tear this down before it goes back up.
Dylan, did you also put the Raptors at the bottom? Am I the only one that went with Brooklyn?
No, I went with Brooklyn.
My man.
The Brooklyn post-trade deadline were pretty terrible. They're a mid-30s win pace. And the Raptors are always good at defense, and they went and added more defenders. The offense is really going to stink, Dennis Schroeder's running point, and they have literally no backup point guard as well. But they're still good on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's the Nets have the vibes, and I think I might just be saying this as somebody who is a huge fan of Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. I think that might be what's propelling me right now. But just the vibes on that team, the amount of I know a lot of the guys that we say are young talent on that team are actually pushing 30, but the amount of up and coming players coming out of Brooklyn and right now, especially if Ben Simmons actually plays basketball and does something, he's a really good player. So I think they're better in terms of vibes, maybe in terms of talent and skill than Toronto. I think the Raptors is just the vibes are just so bad. They're trying so hard to be no, we won the championship 5 years ago, and everyone's we don't care.
The vibes ranking is really important. It's really
horrible.
I had the Nets at 30 wins, so just right above them as the 12 seed. It's not going to be great, but I liked the Ben Simmons piece, and maybe he'll be pretty good. It's going to be 2 pretty bad teams, and whichever one decides to tank first is the one that'll be worse.
So, since you guys are starting to talk about Brooklyn, we're just going to continue with the Brooklyn theme. Also, you mentioned Ben Simmons. Another fun thing I did is I decided I was going to come up with one kind of fun-ish question for each of these teams. Last season, Ben Simmons averaged the famous 666. 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Technically 6.9 in points, 6.1 assists, 6.3 rebounds, but that
doesn't fit the narrative. So
doesn't fit the narratives. Next year, which of these will he average over 7 in? Points, rebounds, assists.
I'll say points. I'll say points and rebounds. I think he's going to be playing. I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm going with the same things. I think, I'm a Sixers fan. I had to watch this man for many years, and I rooted for him for so long. I think if he returns to form, like definitely over 7 points and over 7 rebounds. Assists, I don't know, but
Historically, he has been over 7 assists as well. We are
Okay.
looking. His last year in Philly was 6.9, but
Mm.
the other years 8, 7.7, 8.2. So traditionally, he's over on all of these categories. But it was just funny to me that it's the 666. When have you ever had the 666?
His back was injured, wasn't it? I mean, he's all banged up. I think the ceiling's higher in Brooklyn. They might like with Bridges and Simmons, like if that works, like they might just be kind of good. And I
that's
don't
like a
see
defensive powerhouse with
it's a
those
lot of
two.
fun.
Yeah.
Does
You
their
couldn't
lack
play-
of 4 and
you couldn't play
5s worry anyone?
Maybe.
No?
I'm not a Nets fan. I'm not worried.
Is Simmons going to just play the 4? Is that how we solve this?
That's
Because-
that's where he should play. That's where he should be. I say this as somebody who, again, I had to watch him and root for him for a really long time. When he's at the 4, he's good.
I mean, he
This
played
year.
backup center last year, so it's not like he hasn't been playing as a big.
Do you want me to read their projected like bigs for next season?
Yes.
Starting center Nick Claxton, good. We all love Nick. Nick's great. Backup center Day'Ron Sharp. Third string center, one of Aaron's favorite, Harry Giles.
Let's go.
Starting power forward Cam Johnson. He got the majority of power
Okay.
forward minutes after the trade. Backup power forward Darius Baisley.
You like
And-
Baisley, Nate. Don't fucking lie to me. You are all in on Baisley.
Yeah, I love Baisley as like the change of pace option in Phoenix last year, and then that never happened. He never played. They played TJ Warren over him.
Don't sell your stock.
It's sold. It's gone. The stock has been transferred. Very low point, but yeah, that doesn't worry anyone.
The Raptors couldn't play 7 players at once that I like in a match
Yeah.
show. They just don't have the talent to make it work. Their guards are going to be awful. Like Van Fleet's a good player. Schroeder is the replacement player. Like in the VORP calculations, he is the player that guys are replacing. You need more offensive creation. They're going to be a bottom 10 offense, and they were 12th on defense last year, 12th on defense, something like that. Yeah, 12th on defense, and maybe they're 10th on defense, but it's going to end pretty poorly with their offense.
All right, before we get to Toronto, what do we think about the rest? This is the Nets lineup. Naturally, they've got the guys they traded for: Cam, Dorian, Mikal, Spencer. But I actually do like some of their other offseason moves, and this is just a good chance to like check in with who else they got. Dennis Smith Jr. We all loved last year. There was a lot of talk about all defensive teams. Cam Thomas scored a lot last year, or in his brief stints starting. Lonnie Walker, third string guard. Actually, if we could combine Brooklyn and Toronto, they'd kind of solve each other's problems. Any of these guys that you expect to break out, who do you think is going to have good years, other than the obvious Mikal, Will Bridges?
I don't know. I'm thinking.
Can we tape Dennis Smith Jr. and Cam Thomas together into one player?
Oh
If
my
we
god!
duct tape
That'd be
them
good.
into
what
one
a
guard,
two-way nightmare.
that's the guy I'm into. I think what Lisco said about the vibes in Brooklyn, the Dinwiddie piece is fun. He just gets along in Brooklyn, man. Like he's a net. He's going to be a net in my heart forever. I think he'll give some good minutes.
He's
All
gonna
right.
he's gonna take us to Dinshitty Island.
Did
Anyone
shitty was the
remembers
best
that?
part.
That was
That
the
was the best part of
greatest-
the offseason.
That's the greatest like NBA beef I think of all time. That thread, I think about it 24/7. I'm a big Kyle Kuzma fan. But
Everyone but Aaron is a big Kuzma fan. He just didn't
Okay.
like the fact that Kuzma might end up on the Kings.
It was scary. It
um,
was a little scary for a bit there.
But
The
yeah,
Wizards
I
solved
think
my problems.
Dinshitty
Yeah.
Island. We're taking an all expenses paid trip to Dinshitty Island this year on the Nets, I fear. I think Cam Johnson is also gonna be good. I mean, he's another one of those players as a Dario Saric stan, I had to watch him for a really long time. Not had to. Like I love Cam Johnson. And I think especially that like him staying with Mikhail is so good for both of them. They play so well together and like bounce off each other like incredibly well. I think also them playing in FIBA together. Were there any other Nets players on that team, or no?
That's a good bit.
Because I know Cam and Mikhail, and then I'm not really sure who else was. I mean, I know the roster. I don't know if there's any other Nets on it.
No, I don't think any other net made
Hmm.
either FIBA or any of the other teams, actually. Simmons did not play for
Okay.
Australia,
Gotcha.
but he says he's coming to the Olympics. I'll believe it when I see it,
He
but
says
he
that
keeps
every
saying
year,
that.
and he never does.
Right?
There's no way Ben Simmons is playing extra basketball, right?
Mm-mm. But
I
yeah,
love looking back on the old like 2016 draft class threads about him not playing for LSU, like him kind of quitting on that team. Everyone's like, it's college, it doesn't matter. That ended up being like the biggest storyline in Ben Simmons' whole career is that he doesn't like to play basketball very much.
And yet you guys are all picking over the 7. We're picking 7 over.
Like in terms of like talent, like he's made 2 All-Star teams.
2 All-NBA teams.
Wait, no, he's been an All-Star twice. I'm kidding.
3 times All-Star. 1 time All-NBA.
Yes, okay. Yeah, 3-time All-Star, 2-time Rising Star, except he didn't play 1 year, I think.
Of course.
All-NBA.
Yeah. Doesn't play for the Rising Stars Challenge? God damn it, dude.
I think he was injured in his defense.
It's too tough.
But yeah.
I think one tough thing for Ben Simmons to put up some box score production might just be getting minutes. Like this team is actually pretty deep. If I just go through the roster, you tell me when I get to the player that Ben Simmons should play ahead of. All right, I'll count it out.
I'm ready.
Mikal, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Thomas, Lonnie Walker, Royce O'Neal.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I feel like
Lonnie Walker
ahead of Lonnie Walker, I think is where I would
out on Lonnie. But listen to that roster though. Like I went through the same thing. I thought they were pretty good. I think they're kind of like last year's Jazz, where like they could win like 38 games if they wanted to, but they will probably not want to do that. And so, but they're way talented, way more talented than Toronto.
I'm glad that you said that they could win 38 because that was the pace they were on post deadline. If you look at that. All right. So what's our win projections here? Aaron, you had them say 30?
I went with 30, a 12 seed and 30 wins for the Nets, and then a 13 seed and 27 wins for the Raptors.
I thought you liked this team.
Which team?
Okay. The Nets. We haven't started Raptors talk yet.
I like him to be better than the Raptors, but like them is it's the bottom of the East. I mean, sure, they're fun. Sure. The vibes will be good. It won't be like Charlotte. Like Charlotte may win like 33 games, but the vibes will be really bad.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in a similar neighborhood. I think honestly, I could see a play-in push from the Nets. I don't think they would make it beyond the play-in, but I see a play-in push from them, especially if they actually won it. I think that's the key, is if they actually won it, I could totally see a play-in push from them. I don't know, I'm gonna go like 32 games.
Do they own their pick this year? Do they have incentive to tank if it starts going wrong?
Let me pull up the Harden trade real quick.
Because that could provide some downward gravity. Okay, it doesn't look like they do.
They do not.
So then they have no reason to tank. So yeah.
Okay. So I think
maybe I
see a play and push for them, honestly. Especially when you're led by a guy as like fun and charismatic as Mikal Bridges. I think he could really like rally everyone.
Is he
to make that
guy?
play? Yes.
Is that the vibe around Mikal?
He's so fun. Like 100% fun.
Another important piece is that Bridges has this Iron Man streak going that he obviously cares a lot about.
Yeah.
And so it's not like the classic, like, oh, he'll miss 15 games, he'll miss 12 games. Another thing to consider is the new like superstar resting rules.
Right.
When I was doing the rankings, like last year, all we talked about is, oh, when this player misses these games or the 15, 17 games they missed, that just will happen less. Unless it's a legitimate injury, like you're not going to get those rest days anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, I had them at 34 wins. I had them the highest of this group. I just have the Raptors higher.
Nate, I went over you.
You went over me. Bill, where'd you go?
It's the return of my extremely shoddy Pythagorean win expectation, and they came out at 37 wins.
Okay.
I think I'd like to adjust mine slightly because the pick is really an important piece. Without a pick to tank for, I'll say a generous 34 wins. 35.
Yeah,
Final answer.
I think
35.
I think I'm moving to 34, 40, 35 as well, just because I want them to win more. I like when Mikal Bridges is happy.
He deserves it, goddammit.
He does.
All right. The pick will also bump me up to 35, and we'll just all have odd numbers there. So that way it makes the averages nice and easy. Except for it didn't.
I got to go find a team to take 5 wins from. Looking at you, Washington. Let's go.
Oh, God.
Yeah, remember the lesson from last year. You go over because there'll be some team that inexplicably falls apart, and it's much harder to predict that. So,
and I really hope it's the Lakers. I really hope it's the Lakers. I just love
it back.
Me too.
I'm such a hater. I'm such a hater.
You're not the only one here.
I need the Lakers to fail. I just I just love like the edits that come out where it's like, because they started the whole Mickey Mouse thing. Like that was because of their bubble ring. I just love making fun of the Lakers.
As a Lakers fan, I try not to take this personally.
Oh,
no, it's okay. I have to deal with the two of them who we're looking at Clippers fan and Kings fan. So my pain is their greatest joy, basically.
Okay.
So
and I'm a Sixers fan, so I kind of hate everybody.
fair enough.
Sometimes being a fan of a team isn't liking that team, it's hating other teams.
Yes.
That's the most important part. I dislike more teams than I like, and that's the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's do some Raptors talk here because you guys, Liah, Aaron, you guys are just shitting on the Raptors. Dylan, why do you like the Raptors?
Their offense is going to be really bad, so I predicted them to have basically a bottom 5 offense. But they still have a lot of defensive talent. Between Dennis Schroeder, who is actually a good defensive point guard, they've still got ridiculous length with OG and Scotty on the wing. Pascal's an all-NBA defensive kind of guy. Jakob Poeltl's one of the best rim protectors in the league. And then they like doubled down and decided to bring in Jalen McDaniels to just have even more long wings off the bench. And so like the offense is really going to suck, but I think the defense is going to be hard to, it's going to be hard for the defense to be bad. And so they actually come out as a pretty decent team. Bottom 5 offense, top 10 defense, comes out as a reasonably good team. Are you just not a believer in the Raptors' defense?
I think their offense is bad offense leads into bad defense in a way.
Yeah.
But looking at the Bulls last year, just to comment on them, they had the 5th best defense and the 24th best offense. So basically what you're describing, and they did win 40 games, with an expected win-loss of 44 games. So that's in the cards, but I just can't imagine them winning 41 games last year, losing their 2nd best player and getting better or being exactly the same. Especially with the way the league moves around them.
Yeah, I just don't see anything good happening here.
Can I pitch you guys addition by subtraction? And not that I dislike Fred VanVleet. I think he's very good, but he is a small little guard that, he's shot happy. He's Dennis Schroeder in Germany shot happy. Let me just jack the ball up all the time. And now this is going to allow Scotty Barnes more touches. It's going to allow OG Anunoby more touches. I also think they can now finally really go into just all-out switch a ball. It was hard for them to do it last year because VanVleet is just better. Like you can't not play VanVleet. Now you could decide not to play Schroeder and go with Pascal, Anunoby, Barnes, Jalen McDaniels, and either Thad Young, Otto Porter, Chris Boucher, Precious Achua, Christian Koloko, who had a good year for them by the numbers. I think it just allows them to be a lot more flexible, whereas beforehand they were kind of locked in. You couldn't not play Fred VanVleet.
Is Thaddeus Young still playable?
Yeah.
Okay. he was old in 2017. I'm just checking on the.
He needs to change his name to Thaddeus Old.
Oh god.
That's the comedy we come here for. Just fucking T-ball shit.
I mean, to be fair, last year I'm talking 15 minutes, 4 points, 3
Yeah.
rebounds. So
but
like,
he's still in the league. That's really impressive.
still in the league, still having decent percentages. His on-off numbers when he's out there aren't terrible. So like, maybe you don't
It's a
want to
good
play him a
point, though.
ton, but
Yeah,
but
it's a
you
good point
can't.
about their switchability, though. I think I like what you're saying. When I'm looking at the other teams, because once you start stacking it up, like, do you like them more than Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic? Do you like them more
Yes.
than the Pacers? And you like them more than the Bulls? I can't see it.
Oh my God, Bulls are just always underachieving trash. Like
They signed Javon Carter. I'm all in. I like Javon Carter. That was a great signing.
great,
and
you got a backup point guard. So proud of you.
Hey, that's more than Toronto. And their defense,
Thank
Toronto
you.
literally
That's
doesn't
fair.
back up.
I just don't see like
Finish.
I don't see like any depth on this roster.
What-
Especially at guards. If Dennis
Yeah.
Schroeder is out, like Gary Trent is
Like,
running
who's-
point.
Yeah, and I love Gary Trent as like I think the vibes are good, but just on this team, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Oh my. What about
Well,
Scotty?
they need at
Play
least
Scotty?
one player on the
I
roster.
like
who can shoot
Scotty. I
threes.
like Scotty, but I'm like, this is just
Point
not
Pascal?
the depth is not good, and I'm not a big Pascal fan. I fear.
So they've got the opposite problem of the Nets, where they've got great front court depth. I mean, Podol, Achua, Koloko, power forward Pascal, Thad Young, Chris Boucher, small forward Anobi, Porter, and Jalen McDaniels. Like that is good front court depth. But yeah, you guys are right. Ones and twos, not that great.
Can we orchestrate a trade between the two to exchange problems? Well, not
You don't-
exchange problems, to fix them.
You don't want to combine and just go Sun Kings here?
Sun Kings. The Rap Nets? I'm interested.
Yeah. All right. So Aaron, what's your wins?
I had the Raptors at 27 and 52. Final answer. Just brutal.
Disgusting.
Tough
Wow.
season for Toronto.
Disgusting.
The thing is,
Wow.
I refuse to predict a team to be mediocre. It's not going to happen. Like the 35 win team doesn't exist anymore unless it's Portland and Damian Lillard being fucking stupid. But you're going to find like if teams are bad, they're like, dude, we're going to go the other way. Like we're not going to be in the plan. We're going to lose games. Teams are going to make that decision earlier and earlier. I think the Raptors are going to have to make that call.
Yeah. I mean, that might be the most convincing thing you've said. Because, like, just from a talent perspective, I struggle to see how they are not going to get stops. And being a good defense, like, is going to win them, like, mid-30s of wins. But with that gravity, they own their own pick. Hopefully they'll make some sort of trade to probably make themselves worse. So maybe you do sway me downwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're sneaking into the play-in.
Yeah.
I
Like-
have one team.
Oh.
But I've predicted one team to win more than 32 games and less than 40.
Yeah. I
Ooh,
mean,
two
like,
teams.
the math comes out at a -2 net rating, which is a 36 win team. But like with the gravity pulling you down, maybe we go under.
I think like I think like around 30, honestly.
Oh.
I don't know if like there's any real drama surrounding Pascal Siakam, but I know they're always trying to shop him and nothing ever moves, and I feel like that might reach like kind of a boiling point. Because like
If I was a
imagine like,
Raptors fan, I'd be pissed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to reach a boiling point in terms of like vibes and just like team morale. It's just not looking good, which is why I have them at 30 despite like there are good players on that roster, but they need help. Real bad.
Yeah. I will say I am secretly watching them for a Damian Lillard trade because Masai Ujiri will pull that trigger whether or not Dame wants it, and I'm keeping an eye open for it.
I forgot that was still like up in the air. Like I forgot if that even happened.
Yeah. All right, Dylan, what's your number?
I was just looking at the East, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, like, okay, maybe they're going to be the 10 seed, which will drag them down into the low 30s. But the East isn't that good. They could be like a 6 seed, and so maybe I should adjust them upwards.
What is happening? What are we talking about? What team is the 6th seed?
The East is bad.
The East is bad. Give me
No, but-
10 teams
okay.
that are clearly better than the Raptors for them to start trying to tank to get under. Like it's easier for them to make the playoffs, I think, than to miss the play-in.
But it's easier to get a top 5 pick than it is to make the playoffs.
I don't see them at this. I don't see them at 6.
I
I probably don't see them at 6,
46
but like
games.
I'm just like I see. I'm literally looking at the list of the Eastern Conference to make sure I'm not missing anyone.
All right, so teams that will easily be over the Raptors: Milwaukee, Boston,
Yes.
Philadelphia, Cleveland, New York.
yeah, New
Yes.
York. And
Um,
then that's probably it. Like there are ones that
Well,
probably
and-
will, but
I want to put the Nets there too. I'm putting Brooklyn there.
You just put Brooklyn at 35 wins.
Yeah,
No,
but that's above what I have the Raptors at though. I have the Raptors
Yeah.
at 30.
But okay, so there should be a lot
literally
more
so
teams
smart,
there.
and I know a lot about math.
Atlanta's
Yeah,
going to be
Atlanta's
pretty
above
good.
them too.
yeah. And so you've
Miami.
got like
Do we say Miami?
We didn't say Miami.
I think Miami. I think Miami.
I think if
The
Miami pulls
Pacers.
off a trade, they will be. But
Yes.
if Miami fails to do that, I think they have ruined vibes and they've lost a lot of depth.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, what's your total?
let's just stick with 36.
36. I'm gonna be the odd man out here. I'm going 39.
Yeah.
I believe in them being that 10 seed, 10, 9, somewhere
Yeah.
right in there.
Like
I'll buy a Raptors ticket and eat it on a podcast if they're a goddamn 10 seed.
Can I
dude,
go to the game
go through
first?
the East. Find
I did. I have my entire
you're-
predictions.
you're betting on Atlanta and regular season Miami as
Yeah.
your 7 and 8 seed, and then you got like Indiana? Are you betting on
Indiana.
Indiana over these guys?
I believe in the
Orlando.
Pacers. I do. I do believe in the Pacers.
They were a little bit above 500 when Halliburton played, and I think they'll be a little bit above 500 this season. I think Toronto is going to really suck.
All right.
All right. New York
already
Knicks
said-
time.
I already
Right.
said a long time ago on some TikTok thread that I would eat a Rockets ticket on TikTok Live if they made the playoffs. So I have a lot of tickets at stake. A lot of tickets to eat at the end of the season.
Yeah. Do NBA games still do physical tickets?
I'm
feel like every-
sure.
No, you can print them though. You can print
Okay.
it.
I was
Right.
gonna say I don't know
I
about going.
love a physical ticket. If they could mail me my tickets physically, like I have this whole wall. Actually, I have to go this way behind me of like stuff that would be on my wall.
So I got really good Lakers tickets once. And it was Lakers Pistons. So and it was during the dregs of the Pistons time. So I got there really early and I got some autographs. I got like Derek Fisher's autograph. I got Slavo Medvedenko's autograph. And
Nice.
then the best
Wait.
autograph I got that day, I bumped into Jeff Van Gundy and I didn't have anything for him to sign. So I just asked him if he could sign my ticket because I had the physical ticket. So I've got a Jeff Van Gundy signed
That's so
Lakers
sick.
Pistons ticket.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He was
You know,
very
the-
confused.
The closest to an NBA player I've been is like 20 rows back from Rayan Rupier riding the bench in the playoffs for the Breakers.
I need to share a story. My closest that I've ever gotten to an NBA player. I covered Wizards Magic last year. Covered, as in I wanted to go and sit in the press deck, and I didn't actually write anything. Don't tell anyone I said that. But
We are recording. This is a podcast.
I know, it's fine. Like basically I was supposed to write an article, but it just never got published. Because the newspaper I was writing for was just not together. And I was down like at the court, and we got there so early, like during like shoot around and everything. I kind of got stepped on by Franz Wagner a little bit.
Nice.
I got
Man,
literally
lucky.
I literally feel like he stepped like exactly over my it just I felt like the wind go by when he walked by me. It was so close. I was like, what hello? Like I feel like he couldn't even see me. So I don't know. That's my
He's so
story, though.
tall, he just like walked over top of you.
Basically, yeah, it was weird. I was like, okay, because like you don't really realize. I'm sorry to get off track, but like you don't even
No.
realize how tall these guys are until you're
Yeah.
actually like next to them. You're like, oh, okay, wow, I really am 5'5". Cool, nice, love that.
I remember when Fisher signed my thing, and Fisher's 6 foot, but his
Yeah.
shoulders and like forearms are like bigger than my face, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you're small, but you are like huge in other ways.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Wild.
I can't think of a
Other
great
ways.
segue for
Let's
that into
just-
the Knicks.
Just for clarification, Rayan Rupier is a draft pick on the Blazers this year.
Did not realize that.
No, I'm sure no one listening knows who Rayan
Rayan.
Rupier is either.
I'm glad that you clarified. All right. I think we can all agree. Maybe we don't all agree. Are the Knicks the next worst team?
I
In
think
the Atlantic Division, yes.
All right.
It's
think.
Celtics, Sixers, Knicks. That's all we have left,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
Knicks are next.
Mhm.
I mean, they might not be. Like we don't
Well,
Spin, Dylan. What's up?
we don't know what's happening with the Sixers.
Yeah, I predicted the Sixers to run James Harden back and kind of do that again, and had him at like 50-something wins, and so that was my Sixers take. And
You can't trust the Sixers to ever keep the players they need to keep. They will make either the dumbest decision or something internally will happen where whatever player they're trying to keep just hates the front office all of a sudden. Like Daryl Morey and James Harden were bros up until like literally 2 months ago. So I don't know what happened in that time. Sorry to get off topic because I know we're talking about the Knicks, but you can't expect the Sixers to keep anyone they should keep. They keep the wrong people.
well, do we want to do Knicks or do we want to do Sixers?
I'm saying maybe it wasn't off topic. Like
Yeah.
it's not good vibes down in Philly.
man, I think that's a good point. Let's talk about the Sixers, because if a Harden trades happen and it isn't for another star, I would have the Knicks in front of them.
Yeah, like
So we
if
can
they're
go that direction.
trading James Harden for, whichever Martin brother it is in Tyler Hero, is that like that's a 51 team? Like I don't think so.
It's
Also,
it's tough waters.
the societal implications of Tyler Hero in Philadelphia just shivers down my spine. I will come home for like winter break and my little brother will be wearing a Tyler Hero jersey. Just no, absolutely not. I'm sorry. I don't want that trade to happen. It's just like frat culture in the greater Philadelphia area doesn't need Tyler Hero. Just for my sanity. But no, I fear that I do still believe in the Sixers. I say this as a Sixers fan, but sometimes I've really lost hope. But right now, I think I kind of still believe in them. I think if Tobias Harris steps it up.
There we go. A little bit of
Waiting
Tobias
for the-
Harris fate.
The breakout season for Tobias Harris. Can we agree on, let's say the Hero trade? Just say that happens. Dylan, what do you see them at if they get those guys? 47 wins.
Let's just do some
Go ahead,
quick
take it.
math.
Can I
I had him
offer
at
you a slightly more terrifying trade?
Sure.
Rui Hachimura and D'Angelo Russell.
God.
I like that more.
Oh my god.
Who's
like
doing
that
that?
So
It makes. I don't like
mean-
that James Harden would go for them, but I like those players more than the other ones.
I mean,
No
historically,
way.
Lakers want to get the stars. Harden is a California guy. There's been a lot made of how Rui and D'Lo's salaries add up to Kyrie Irving's. They also add up to James Harden's salary. And you want a guy that can handle the ball and take pressure off of LeBron and AD? That's kind of James Harden.
I
My
am
God.
having the worst flashbacks of my life. This is the Russell Westbrook shit again. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
way they make this
No, this is-
mistake. No way.
What are you talking about? They'll make this mistake 10 times again.
No, they did this already. It took them years to recover from trading from an old guard that's clearly on the decline. They're going to do it
Mhm.
again and end up in the exact same spot.
Mhm.
Dylan, what wins did you find for the trade that doesn't make me want to blow my brains out?
Like
I had him at 51 wins, just
Ooh.
as it stands.
yeah.
Just as it is, just with Harden, they run it back. Harden and Morey talk about the good times. They bro hug. they kiss on the lips, and then everything's okay again.
I would estimate 44 wins.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Wait,
44
with Tyler Hero for James Harden.
So
Aaron?
that's such an icky trade.
Move on, Nate. Move on.
Are
Move
we're
on,
just,
Nate.
we're
Move
just
on.
gonna move on? Okay, we're not gonna question it.
That's how they reconcile.
Yeah, but is that how you reconcile?
That's how Harden and Morey reconcile. I'm positive that they
Okay.
go a bit further. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to
I mean,
question.
the team that Harden actually wants to be traded to, and you can't blame him because of what an awesome organization they are, is the Clippers. And the Clippers package is probably like even worse than
Yeah.
like
They ended
But
talks
they
today,
don't
didn't they? Was that
really- they don't
today?
have,
They
like,
stopped talking to each other?
anything.
I could have sworn I saw a news report that said the Clippers and the Sixers have ended trade talks.
They got to talk to
That
someone. They
ended,
can't
like,
just
months ago. Yeah.
they can't just run into the season with James Harden on the roster.
My keyboard isn't working. I can't look up anything. This
Yeah.
laptop's dying.
I
My
mean,
goodness.
there are very limited options for James Harden. I mean, Milwaukee's not probably going to give them anything. You can't get that Drew for James trade. Boston's not going to give him anything. Cleveland's not. The Knicks are definitely not. Because here's the other thing: no one wants to blow any sort of smoke or powder on getting James Harden when potentially Embiid could ask out or Giannis could ask out in the next couple of years. Like, you're getting garbage. It's just
I
who's
have the
garbage to
official
you what.
report. The official report 7 hours ago. The Sixers have taken James Harden off the trade market. Apparently, it says, quote, the Clippers tried to trade for James Harden, and that deal didn't happen, Windhorst said. From what I understand, it was the
So-
Clippers who said, okay, there's no deal here. We're going to move on.
But the question is, does that mean that, like, James Harden's good now? Like, are we good? Like, or is he just still mad as hell? Like,
Did they kiss on
like,
the lips yet?
yeah, no, that's
He-
what I'm asking. Like, did they kiss on the
He's-
lips?
He's probably just like fat suit on and warm ups and in the nightclub the day before the game, James Harden. So like I'm dropping them down to 38 wins. Like you can't. James Harden isn't Ben Simmons. Daryl Morey's gonna learn that. Like Ben Simmons is just gonna like sulk and go home. Like James Harden's not gonna do that. James Harden will fuck shit up.
That's a great point,
hate
honestly. Are they
Daryl
worse
Morey
with
so
Harden? Like, are they worse with
they
Harden?
will be worse with James
Okay.
Harden if he's still pissed off.
I'm
Like
honestly, I'm
if he's
interested.
fat suit and like
Okay.
in the clubs every night.
I found the 5 wins I want to take away. I gave him to the Nets, and I'm taking away from this.
Okay, I just like,
Sorry, let's go.
I just want to believe somewhere in me that there's something in James Harden that's like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna play because I'm old as hell and nobody's gonna want me again after this.
Yeah, maybe it is
Like,
that. Like
I think he's honestly. I hope he just gets it together and is like, okay, cool, I'll play.
yeah, like Kyrie kind of did that last year, where he's like, "You need to trade me," and then like, "Yeah, we tried to trade you. No one fucking wants you. You need to like come play some games first." And he's like, "Okay." So like maybe James are going through a similar thing. It's
I
like,
think,
yeah,
I
we
mean,
tried to trade you, and they offered us Robert Covington and Marcus Morris. So like, that's your value. You need to play some fucking games, dude.
I was gonna say I would accept that.
Well,
the vibes are too
the-
bad.
We're
Those-
Too
learning
were-
a
bad.
lot about the players I really like, though.
the return of
Yeah, that's
Rocco
good.
would be phenomenal.
I love Robert Covington so much. I was literally looking at his Wikipedia earlier, just reading it for entertainment. I love that man.
All right. Well, let's say we do live in a world where James Harden gets traded and Tyrese Maxey is now the starting point guard, a role that we haven't really seen him in.
It's a world I love.
So
I
it was a world I was
like-
expecting to love.
A maxi girl.
I was expecting to love it a lot more, and then I started looking. Do you know how many assists he's averaged in his career?
Just break it to me.
You want to venture a
Just-
guess?
I don't know.
Dylan, don't look it up. I got it. I don't need you to look it up. I see the typing.
Just break it to me. Just break my heart. Go.
Last season, he averaged 3.5 assists per game. The prior year, it was 4.3. I checked different splits. I checked, starter, reserve, pre-All-Star game, post-All-Star game. I can't get that number over 4.5. And this is now going to be the man in charge of running the point. Also, incredible three-point shooting splits. Post-All-Star break, dude shot like 153s at 53%. Like, Did not expect that. Did not remember those numbers. But I am a little bit concerned.
For the second year in a row, he shot over 50% on corner threes.
That's not a point guard, though. Point guards don't get to shoot corner threes. Point guards shoot top of the key. Point guards handle the ball. Point guards make passes.
But also,
Well,
this is
you know who's a point
Philadelphia.
guard? You know who's a point guard?
You're
Patrick
overlooking
Beverley.
their big free agent signing
Yeah.
at the point. The man who turned around Chicago's season last year.
I love Pat Bev.
Culture,
love him
man.
so
That's
bad.
culture.
I love him so bad. Like, oh my god. Every time I think about the fact that he's in Philly, I've wanted him in Philly for like 5 years now. Every offseason I'm like, let's get Pat Bev, and they don't, and they finally did it. And like, that man is Philadelphia. He's not even from Philly, but he is Philadelphia, I think.
Yeah.
And also just in terms of like Tyrese Maxey like not being like the point guard, you have to remember that also like this is literally Philadelphia. And I think things just go really weird a lot of the time. Like we had Ben Simmons at point guard for a long time, and that man doesn't shoot. He's basically a backup. He should be like at the 4 or 5, but we had him at point, and I think Joel Embiid has navigated so many insane scenarios around him. He should be in therapy. I hope he is. That I think Tyrese Maxey just not being the typical point guard I think they'll be able to navigate that just fine, honestly. I think he's good. I don't know how old he is, but he's still young. He's still growing. He's a grown boy.
He's not even 23 yet.
Yeah, I believe in him. I believe in that man. That man's not even 2 years older than me. Like, let's think about that. Like, he's not done growing.
Physically, but yeah.
Well, yeah. He actually, not to get all like
Sports science.
6th grade biology. No, not even to get all that. Like, I think sometimes like people like assigned male at birth can grow physically up to like age 25.
There is that late growth spurt.
He
That's
might
what happened with Dennis Rodman.
he might have a late growth spurt.
He's like 6'7", 6'7"
Yeah,
Maxey. Let's
you
do
know,
this.
We might just get a big Maxey. He has a couple years left.
That's a top 30 NBA player if Tyrese Maxey
Mhm.
was 6'7".
Large
Man.
Maxey. I'm a large Maxey truther, I believe.
All right. With all the uncertainty, I think I'm locking them in at 48 wins right now for myself. Just if Harden plays, I do think he's going to be sluggish and they're going to get off to a slow start. And if they trade Harden, they're getting back garbage and it's probably below 48. But I feel like 48 is a safe baseline right now.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's just
good
like
to me.
there's like too much uncertainty to even predict a record. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen with James
But
Harden or
that's what
Tyrese
we're
Maxey's
here for.
incoming growth spurt. And so it's impossible to even predict.
How
Yes.
far will the James Harden, Daryl Morey love story go? Will they just stop at the kissing, or does it go even further?
I think
Aaron, are you
we're
writing?
further.
I'm gonna
you
write the
writing
James Harden,
weird-
Daryl Morey fanfic and come back to you guys.
That's what I'm worried about. All right. I'm putting 48 for my own thing. Are you guys, what are
I'll
your
go-
wins?
I'll just go 44, which was
I'll do 46.
maybe a little bit better because they were basically a 44 win pace with James Harden off the floor. And so if we say like James Harden just not playing, but he is getting replaced by a probably better player this year. So yeah, maybe like 46 wins.
I think I'm gonna settle around 50 because I'm an optimist and a large Maxey truther.
There we go. Honestly, we didn't even touch on him, but DeAnthony Melton is a solid.
I wrote a whole thing on him for my job a couple weeks ago. I know a
Nice.
lot about him now. He's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like if you have to replace Harden with someone, Melton and Maxey as your backcourt, it's still solid. PJ Tucker's getting real old though.
God, I have not liked PJ Tucker since that signing. I have Al Horford trauma, which is what I call it when a team just signs just this ancient player who is just slow and old, and I'm like, why are you here?
At least
and I feel like that's gonna
good.
No, now he's good. When he was on the
Yeah,
Sixers,
he wasn't
that
good on
man-
the Sixers.
Ugh,
Does
my
age
friends and I
affect
called
PJ
him-
Tucker?
It's the
I don't know.
it's It was a Tony Douglas signing. I'm pretty sure that was his name. He was this. Does that name sound familiar, Nate? Am I getting that right?
Point
He was
guard,
like this this point guard from like the early 2010s who was like the only guy that was good at guarding Steph Curry, and so the Warriors just signed him and set him on the bench, and he retired. That was the thing. Like Al Horford was the Embiid stopper, so they just signed him. Like, no one can stop him.
Just shut him.
Oh my god!
Retire.
Can I get off my Dario mention?
Yeah.
Dario is literally a warrior killer. And they signed him, which I think is the funniest thing in the whole wide world. I think that's literally what's happening. They're like, well, you always just like randomly torch us for no reason, so join our team now, I guess. Also, Chris Paul was a huge part of scouting him, so it's probably not the only reason. But that's my one Dario mention of the pod. Yay!
We bonded initially over a Dario mention because I clipped something from an early pod about Dario being 6th Man of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
And like that's when you added me on Twitter, and so like I'm with you with the Dario love. I hope he bounces back.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he has a strong
No,
season.
me too.
But all right, so our average wins, we're at 47.5 for Philly. Then that's not too bad. I can live with that. Let's talk the Knicks. Knicks
Bing
looks like they're
bong.
going to be bing bong. Knicks are running out of lineup again. Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart has tried to recruit every Villanova player out there. The young guys are once again wondering if they'll get minutes. Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, Jericho Sims. What are we thinking?
This roster is so, now that you're reading it off, it actually is really good.
It's got a legit.
I forgot how good they're
players?
deep. They go deep too. Like, I think
7.
that's more good players than like 2 of the teams we've already talked about.
That's true.
I don't know.
You got to add them up. I had the Knicks as a 5
Yeah.
seed and 46 wins. They added most letters per player possible with their signings, Dante DiVincenzo and Ryan Arcidiacono. Just breaking the hearts of older fans that
They're
struggle to
both
pronounce
Villanova
these
too,
names.
right?
Yeah, my dad's gonna have a fucking heart attack trying to pronounce those names. It's an interesting team because last year, I mean, you think of Tibbs, like the super gritty 24th on offense and first on defense to 45 wins, the most painful way. But they were the 3rd best offense and the 19th best defense. Like it wasn't that kind of team at all. I like the DiVincenzo signing, and they're getting rid of Rose and Toppin. I honestly think that Rose wasn't playing and Toppin was kind of in the way of what Tibbs was trying to do, obviously. But I texted Nate about this a while ago. They signed Jacob Toppin, his brother. Like Tibbs has this infatuation of torturing that family. Like he needs a Toppin to not play. This seat at the end of the bench is reserved for a Toppin. Like there is going to be a Toppin here that I'm going to get yelled at when I'm upset.
So funny. It just, the Knicks are one of these teams that always like, I'm just somebody who, I'm a Sixers fan first and foremost, but any team with good vibes, I will like take a dive into like, I really like this team. And the Knicks always like kind of drag me in, and I'm a Derrick Rose hater, so them getting rid of him is great for me. I think they might like drag me in a little bit into believing that they can like, not all the way obviously, but go like have a nice playoff run.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Aaron, last year they were an elite offense and a pretty like a mediocre defense. Post trade deadline, they were the number 1 offense in the league by like a reasonable margin. And so like predicting them out this year, they're going to be a top 3 offense. They were actually really good defensively at limiting opponent effective field goal percentage. What they weren't good at is that they fouled a lot and they didn't force any turnovers. And Dante DiVincenzo is one of the best players in the league at steal rate. And so that's gonna, be an improvement. Like they needed to improve on forcing turnovers, and they brought in DiVincenzo, who is really good at that. And so I think the defense will be slightly better. The offense is going to be elite. So I'm going over 51 wins.
Well, and you remember how they defend wide open 3-pointers, right? Because they've like the last several seasons, they have had the best numbers against wide open 3-pointers.
Let me see if that carried over.
It's just Tibbs on the sideline yelling ice. She's like, ice, ice. And the guys just miss their threes. It happens. Just watch a game. You'll see it happen in a couple of times.
So the theory is, part of the evidence that defensive 3 point, what's the word? The theory that you can't affect your opponent's 3 point percentage, only their frequency. Part of the evidence to that is that there's no consistency year to year, and so while 2 years ago they were really bad. No, where is it? There we go. While 2 years ago they were really great at opponent 3 point percentage, as in they were the best in the league. Last year they were only 11th, so they're falling back. They're coming back to earth. The randomness is balancing out a little bit, and I'm even more confident in my prediction now that I know that they didn't have crazy 3 point shooting luck from their opponents.
You tell me Tibbs is just getting old and not yelling as much. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
All right. I promised at the start of this I was going to do a couple fun questions for each team. I didn't really have one. It was a more serious one for the 76ers. We kind of blew past the Raptors one, but I'm getting both of my Knicks fun questions in here. First fun Knicks question is they lost Obi Toppin. He played all of their backup power forward minutes mostly. What are they going to do now? Are they going to do small ball? Will Tibbs finally embrace small ball? Because they've got a lot more good guards than bigs. Will we see a Knicks small ball lineup?
I do think that their backup power forward is probably Divincenzo. So I think that they will go small. The thing with Tibbs is that he's not necessarily opposed to going small at the 3 and the 4. It's just that he always wants a rim protector, and so they'll never go small at the 5. They're always going to have Mitchell Robinson or Hardenstein or who's their other center, Sims. So they'll always have a 5 because he will refuse to play without rim protection. But I think that he isn't that opposed to going small at the 4, and I think we'll see it. We'll see some Josh Hart,
DiVincenzo,
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Hart's rebounding. All right, my second fun Knicks question is we always pick on Tibbs for not playing young players. Going into this year, we've got RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and Emmanuel Quickley, who will all be 24 years old. I went back and looked at every team Tibbs has ever coached. There have been 6 guys 24 or younger to play 30-plus minutes a night on Tibbs' team. Can you guys name the 6 players?
Well, sorry. What are the parameters again? I wasn't expecting a quiz.
So
I thought I would add some fun game show elements to this.
I love it.
24 and under and over what? 30?
Over 30 minutes.
Over 30 minutes. Okay.
I will tell you that this has happened multiple times. This happened 11 times, but 6 unique players.
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose is one. He did it twice.
Okay.
Karl Towns, was he on that team?
Yeah, no, I was about to say Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns. Yep. He also did it twice.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Yes. During the Chicago Bulls. And Jimmy played at 38.7 minutes at age 24.
Luol Deng.
Luol Deng is 25.
Ah, God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Joakim Noah was 25.
Yeah, I was going to say Joakim Noah
that's the
as well.
That's the threshold.
Are we counting RJ?
Yeah.
RJ Barrett. Yep.
Okay. How many
Barrett has
left?
played. You are missing 2.
2. What teams are they for?
If I tell you, it gets too easy.
Okay. All right.
Don't tell me that.
We'll hold off.
He's only coached 3 teams.
Yeah.
Well, who else? I'm trying to just think I feel like there has to be somebody else from the Wolves and somebody else from the Knicks, right? Or is that stupid? That's what I'm thinking.
The Wolves.
Without giving it away, that is not stupid.
Okay. Okay.
It's not Taj Gibson, I'll tell you that.
I don't know.
He re-signed at the Wizards. Dude's still playing.
Part of me wants to go Wiggins on the Wolves. Is that not right? I feel
that's good.
Wiggins
That's
is right.
Nice.
pick.
Good pull.
Great
Good pull.
pick.
I had to pull. I pulled that from the Dario Wolves era. I was watching a lot of those games.
And I will tell you that your last guy is another wolf.
A wolf.
Hmm.
The Timberwolves.
Can't remember who was on that team.
Who else was there? No, I know this. It's just like hidden. It was like,
It's like Jeff Teague was too old.
D'Angelo Russell.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So it was on like that Jimmy Butler Wolves team.
No.
No?
After that, right?
Before that.
Before that? Oh,
Like 20.
So it was on a really
26.
bad Wolves team then.
It was the 2016-2017 Wolves. This player
George
played
Jang.
37.2 minutes, leading
my God.
Minnesota.
Oh my lord.
37
Okay,
minutes.
so he's out of the league now because his body broke down after playing 37 minutes as a 22-year-old.
21-year-old.
oh my God. Okay.
This is such
I
a
don't-
tough quiz.
I feel like I'm.
Oh, at what position?
I know what he plays now. He plays shooting guard now. He might have played more of small. No, he played shooting guard then.
This is just not
Shooting
helping
guard.
me at
Would you,
all.
would you like another hint?
Zach Levine.
Zach Levine.
Nice. Nice. There we go.
Yep.
Yep. He's just such a forgettable player. I forgot he was even on that team.
There is hope that Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes will get more minutes this year. RJ Barrett's already getting 30. He probably doesn't want more minutes.
He's gonna get them either way.
Yeah. Well, that just leaves us. Oh no, we didn't say wins. What do we think wins wise is? And for context, last year the Knicks won 47 games.
Just one thing though, they underperformed their point differential, so they had the point differential of a 49-win team.
Interesting.
And-
Interesting. I had 48 wins.
I had 49.
And I went over it. I went over at 51.
Interesting. 48, 49. I wasn't expecting them to be that good. I was actually thinking like 46. I felt like 47 is a lot, but
Oh no, I'm high on the Knicks.
could the Knicks get 50?
They're another one of those high vibes teams to me. So that always brings my answer up a couple games.
All right, I'm gonna go 49. I'm with it. I think 50 is too much. That just feels like a bridge too far to get to.
I mean, they were a 49-win point differential last year, and then they got better. So I'm going up.
All right.
It's a scary place to be, Dylan. Being high
I
on the
know.
Knicks is a place you're
I
going
know.
to get hurt in.
They were also pretty healthy last year, is the thing.
It's usually kind of a place for heartache.
Yeah. Well, we'll discuss that when we talk about the Kings on the Pacific Division.
Fuck you already. Fuck both of you.
Hey, listen, it has happened one time in NBA history that all 4 California teams have made the playoffs. Odds are not in our favors that we do it again.
I have a team in mind that's
I
not
think
going to
you could
make
do it
it. I'm interested. Yeah, I mean, the teams are obviously really talented.
I think right now, I think they could do it again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
It's not like
like
there's
the
much
Lakers to
competition.
win, but
San Antonio.
Really, it will
Houston.
probably be either Dylan or I's team, the Lakers or Clippers, just whoever's not healthy that falls out.
The
I mean,
rules
it could be
really
the Kings if
interesting.
the Kings aren't healthy. They had perfect health last year. If
Sure.
Fox or I guess Sabonis was kind of playing hurt, but
Yeah.
Fox or
thumb.
Sabonis missed
No
more
thumb.
time than
Who
Yeah.
needs a
Yeah.
thumb?
But with those,
yeah.
like with the new
it was
rules,
it was in his right hand, so he never used it anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
With the new rules, it's so interesting because I had to go back and forth on, well, are the Lakers and Clippers actually going to be helped by this? Like, if they're healthy and they're forced to play, they will win 50 games. But
But if they're forced to play and then overexert themselves and then
then
get
it's
injured
35.
and then have miss
so,
more wins,
yeah, so what are you going to do? It's kind of you have to pick a direction.
So LeBron is actually not affected by the new rule.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
exempt.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Wait.
over 36 rule.
There's an
wait,
exemption for
explain
players
it.
over a certain.
Okay, explain it a
Yeah.
little bit.
So the new rest policy
Yes.
You can't rest 2 All-Stars or anyone that's been an All-Star in the last 3 years or All
Yes.
NBA.
And they went back 3 years to make sure
I've
Kawhi
known
was
about
included. Because
that.
if they
Yeah.
only went back 2 years, they would have
Yeah.
missed him.
But there is an exemption that if you're over 36 and have played X amount of minutes, which at this point I think it's just LeBron and Chris Paul that
And
qualify for it.
Mike Conley.
Oh, and Mike Conley.
The freaking Timberwolves would have had 4 players that they couldn't
thought it
sit,
was
but luckily
or.
Mike Conley's exempt.
I thought it was or. It was 36 or
Yeah,
1,000
Oh,
games.
I thought it
played.
was and.
So Steph's like guys like Steph is 1,000 total games
Okay.
played. He could rest, and Chris Paul and whatnot. With the
Yeah. So, yeah, they carved in that loophole, which is, I don't know,
think
makes
it's
it
smart.
even
They're
less teeth.
old man. Like,
Sure.
that's it. That goes right back to it though. So the Lakers probably will win less games because LeBron will be resting more.
But we're
But
not
the
talking
ceiling's
about the
higher.
Lakers.
I
We're
know,
talking
but
about Boston
We're
now,
not-
everybody.
It's the
Are
rules,
you gonna do
man.
the accent again?
Don't. Spare us.
You
Spare
told me
us.
you liked the accent.
Do it again. I haven't heard it.
He had to say something.
I don't.
Go ahead.
It's hard to pull it out on the spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, really,
You
only
need
thing I
the
can say is
transition.
Pressure.
You
like-
need to be able to say Marcus Smart.
yeah,
get
Marcus
it going.
Smart. So we're talking about Boston here. We got the new big white guy, Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, he's pretty
That's
good.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
The Knicks booed him, so I think we'll like him.
I just.
But do you actually like the Celtics stuff with
Mistakes were made.
Kristaps' foot issues? Because that's what's hanging over all of this. I could see them as like a 1 seed at the top with Kristaps being healthy, but as soon as they traded for him, he has his foot issue. He's going through this like 4 to 6 week program with
Yeah.
plantar fasciitis. That's terrifying for someone who's been fragile. That is like the scariest injury to me. Is the lingering foot one that you can't really fix.
Yeah. That,
So-
but also, or I was going to say it's an and also, actually. I have had the misfortune of watching Kristaps Porzingis a lot because I live in DC. So I would I always go to Wizards games. And that man, he plays like he is on fire in the first quarter. And then after that, just nothing. Like I've been to games where he will have like 19 points in the first quarter. And then after that, just miss every shot, or hardly get any playing time. It's like a mix of the two usually. Just nothing. I don't know if it's like a coaching thing. I don't know if it's just him. I don't know if it's again like the foot injury and stuff. But they put him in at the beginning of the game and then he just, even if he's still playing, he sucks after the first quarter.
Yeah, I wonder if I can find shooting splits for him by quarter.
That's what they have Rob Williams
Please
and
do.
Horford for. They have 3 centers they can duct tape together, and you get one really good center.
Which is one of my 2 fun questions for Boston. How many games will, on average, the big 3 play? Horford, Williams, and Porzingis. Big 3 as in tall, not big 3 as in good. For context, the last 3 seasons, last year they played on average 54 games. The prior year, 2022, 60 games. And 2021 was on average 41 games.
Okay. I'm going to go. You have Al Horford, who is. I just think he's so old, on default. That, I don't think he's actually 40, but in my head, he's 40.
He might be getting
Must be
Old and
close.
slow, I fear. Old and slow, I fear. We have that situation. Then we have Kristaps Porzingis, who is just streaky and also injured and fragile and just always has something going on. And then Williams, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna go with 45 games.
Ooh. I'll take 55. The thing's just gonna be whether they can get 2 of those guys healthy at any one game. That hopefully their injuries don't overlap. They can take turns missing 10 games at a time.
Oh wait, I
That's
thought this
gonna be the
was
difference
all
maker.
together.
Yes, on average.
Oh, okay, 45 then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Okay.
On average, I think you're gonna Kristaps probably 60. We'll go 55 for Kristaps and Rob Williams 45, Horford 65, 58. 58. Final answer.
Okay. All right. You want to know my second fun question for Boston? With the signing of Svi Mikhailuk, Boston is now able to put out a line of Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Cornett, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, and Svi Mikhailuk, the all-white man line.
It's
How
the
many
original
win-
Celtics. It's like the barnstorming team from the 20s. They bringing
Oh
it back.
God. What's the question though? I'm scared.
If that was their starting lineup, how many wins would they get?
Oh.
I don't know.
13, 12,
Yeah,
like 10. The worst team of all
we're
time.
counting
It's
down.
horrible.
Yeah, not good.
Svetoslav Mikhailuk
Uh,
running.
I
running
thought you were going to say how many minutes does that 5-man lineup play over the course of the season?
You know what?
I-
Yeah, that's a much better question. How
I
many minutes
need-
does that?
If they get
Oh,
a single minute,
God.
Celtics fans, I feel like
Oh.
there's something about that lineup that I feel like Celtics fans will just love for some reason.
Well,
it's just
It's just 5 guys that play the right way.
I just need the screenshot of them on. I just need the screenshot so I can just use it to dunk on people, to dunk on Celtics fans. Oh, sweet.
They
shot
play good.
scoring.
It's gritty. They play smart, and they play with hustle.
A lot of shooters out there too. You know,
Shooters,
that's
Not the most
deceptively
athletic, but
athletic
very
and-
skilled.
You know that song that went around on Instagram a couple months ago where it was like your uncle's favorite player and you don't ask why.
yeah.
Your uncle's favorite lineup and you don't ask why. Ugh.
I don't feel like there's actually too much to discuss. We've discussed Kristaps
Shiver me
a
timbers.
lot
Mhm.
on this team. You know, Brogdon's injury. Does anyone have any last minute Celtics takes for the upcoming season and that they want to get off?
It's going to be really strange watching Celtics with no Marcus Smart in terms of it's been so long. I mean, he's been on that team for my entire life. It feels like I had them at 54 wins, with 3 less than last season. You could make an argument they're probably closer to 50 if the Kristaps injury lingers, but we'll have to see.
Leah, you had something?
Yeah. Was there not even drama, but was there something happening with Jaylen Brown recently? Or was it just discourse about him? Because I feel like I remember like a couple months ago just seeing like everyone was just dunking on him, and I'm not really sure if it was just discourse or if something went down.
That was just Nate shitting on Celtics. It's the
No, I mean
ripple
in
effect of his
general.
fucking hate train on Jaylen Brown.
I'm also a Celtics hater.
I mean,
I don't
there's been weird stuff about him wanting his own team, about
Yeah.
his love of Atlanta, about how much he backs Kyrie Irving whenever Kyrie Irving does something anti-Semitic.
Scary.
Yeah, there's a fair number of things that like prop up and down, but also like then there's Jaylen Brown as like civil rights advocate, and his father marched with the MLK, or grandfather marched with the MLK, and he's like trying to
Right.
continue that, and a lot of very intellectual stuff. So like, without knowing him personally, I don't know too much to say where the vibes are, but like,
Okay. I think when I saw people dunking on him, I think people were just saying that he's not as good at basketball as he could be or has been.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
that's
I think
So-
it was probably way lower in our top 100 than consensus.
Yeah.
Nate, you had the
Absolutely.
TikTok comparing. What was it? Was it the Bleacher Report?
That was
Top
that's
100.
it.
That was. I get you two mixed up. Both just elite content creators.
I can
Compare-
grow a beard. He can only
Compare-
grow a mustache.
Comparing our top 100s
Fuck
to
you.
the Bleacher Report, and Jaylen Brown was a big
Yeah.
Yeah,
disagreement between
It's a
where
big
we were and
difference,
where the
and the
consensus
comments
was.
ripped me apart. And we had him at 32, and maybe he's like 27 or something
Okay.
on his best day. But I mean, people were like in the top 20. They're like, "Where's Jaylen Brown? Where's Jaylen Brown?" I'm like, "Are the Celtics the greatest team on earth? Is it like MJ and Pippen with these two?" Because I don't see it. Even when we did the podcast with Montaigne, like that's like one of the things he mentioned. He's like, Jaylen Brown was way too low, and maybe we're a bit too harsh, and he should be 26 or something. But people love Jaylen Brown. Like they think he's as good as Tatum. Like Tatum's a top
Okay.
5 player, and Brown is like top 15.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like I
Um,
don't want to compare them. Oh my god, I keep bringing up Ben Simmons. Like I feel like it's the same thing with like the Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, or one of
Oh,
them's like
yeah.
really like on top of fucking everything, and then the other one's just like still all-star or like star. but like far below, but everyone thinks they're better than they actually are because they're attached to like this much better player. I don't know.
I think that always happens when you get two young players, is like,
Yeah.
a lot of times people just conflate them as being the same guy.
Yeah.
They were being the same tier and level. It's like, no, there's some sizable differences. And for us, one of the big knocks with Jalen was just his turnover problems. Like, he's basically a 1-to-1 assist to turnover guy.
Right.
Doesn't move the ball well, turns the ball over when he drives. It's just, not my favorite thing. But Celtics are really good. They will probably have one of the best records in the East.
They'll
if not
probably
the
have the best record.
Dylan, what are you putting them in win-wise?
Give me 58.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit, 58 wins?
It's going to be the best team in the conference, certainly.
It's just tough to predict that high. Just to say, like, no, this seems 58 wins. Like, that's fucking bonkers. Sure,
That's...
man.
Liah, where are you at?
Yeah. I mean,
hey, don't let Aaron bully you. If you were also going to join me at 58 wins, like, ignore that guy.
Oh, I had 54 in mind, but
that's a great number. That's what I think.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I get it. We're on the same page.
However, I just feel like I feel like they are leagues more like put together than teams like the Sixers and the Knicks. But again, that can't give you your wins. Like, looking really good on paper can't give you wins. So I feel like I am confident with 54. Actually, I saw that just now.
My sphere of influence.
I love where you're at, Dylan. The head-wise, I just think that there's so many injury concerns here. Like,
it's going to come down to injuries. Like, they were a 57-win team last year. If Porzingis and Rob and Horford play a fair amount, they're a better team, I think. But what did we say on average? They're going to play like 55 wins, so 55 games between them. So it'll depend on that, on the availability of those guys.
I'm going 55 wins just to one up Aaron.
54 wins, man. You know that like octopus in the American history textbooks? It's like crawling over the globe to show like the influence.
Yes.
That's me. That's my. I'm just reaching around the globe. 54.
That's
wins
like the
for Boston.
craziest reference. You pulled that out of like. Oh my god.
Don't know that one.
Really?
Must have had
You haven't seen it?
My guy, I'm old. Not even that old.
This is from hold on. This like it's a political cartoon from like I think the 1850s. So I don't know how old you're insinuating that you are.
It's Common Core stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying you guys got some updated textbooks that are.
I'll find that picture one sec. I'll send it to Discord.
I don't know if that means your textbooks are better or worse.
Textbooks in Michigan are from before the 1850s.
Yeah, that's potentially. I had a religious school upbringing, so there's a chance.
Your textbook was like 2,000 years old.
History, yeah, it's nothing covered before the start of America, because that's when it all went wrong. No, not quite that. 17. I don't know. There's a better joke in there somewhere, but we've been doing this for like an hour and 15 minutes. And so I feel like we've closed out well. Our average wins for the teams. We've got Boston with 55.25, New York with 49, Philadelphia with 47.5, Brooklyn 35.5, Toronto with 33. Can we all live with that? Are we happy?
Feel great about it.
Yeah.
I just sent that image to the Discord.
Perfect.
Everyone to see.
All right. Aaron, where can the people find you?
Possible Chairs on TikTok, this podcast all the time, maybe a Jewish-only podcast in the future.
Let's go.
Dylan, where can the people find you?
On the Hoops Temple podcast until it gets converted to Jewish only and I'm no longer invited.
Liah, where can the people find you?
Oh, I'm Lisco2000 everywhere. Sometimes, actually, usually there's an underscore. Lisco_2000. TikTok is just Lisco2000 with no underscore. But that's me everywhere. So come find me.
And I'm Nate_Hoops Temple. Also Nate S127 on X, and I don't know. other platforms. You can find me. If you're listening to the show, you've already found me. But hope you enjoyed it. Love to hear from you. Email us at hoopstemple@gmail.com.